Hello, my wonderful friends. How is everyone this morning? Give me 1 second to check up. All right. How is everybody this morning? And I always feel funny saying morning because, of course, it's morning here in Spokane, but we have so many wonderful students from all over the world that I know that some of you, it's late at night. For some of you, it's in the middle afternoon. So perhaps instead of saying good morning, I should say good day. With that, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Let me jump over and check in the comment box. All right. Can everyone hear me okay? Hello, Steve. Oh, good. All right. So you guys can hear me. Everyone's doing well. Hello. It always makes my heart so happy to see all the students from all over the world. I've said it before and I will continue to say it. Technology is so amazing in as much as I can be sitting here in Spokane, Washington, and talking to literally friends from all over the world. Hello, Vivek. Hello, Rosa. Let's see who else is here. Jose. Oh, beautiful life from Morocco. What a wonderful screen name. Beautiful life. I agree. Okay. Well, I hope everyone had a good Monday. I know for some of our viewers, you're in the future and it's already Wednesday when today is Tuesday here in the United States on the West Coast. So once more checking over. All right. So as the layout promised, I'm going to quickly go over and review some of the qualifiers, and then we'll do about 5 vocabulary words. If you haven't noticed, this vocabulary list is very, very long. There are a lot of words, but I think that vocabulary is so incredibly important because if you were here last week, I explained my thought that vocabulary and words are kind of like building a house. The more words you have, the more you can say. And instead of just saying the food is good, you can say the food is awesome. One of our vocabulary words, or amazing, or incredible, which means good, of course, but very, very good. And so just once more, I really enjoy words and I really enjoy teaching vocabulary so that the wonderful students, you guys have more words. And with that, building vocabulary is like building a house. So give me one moment. I'm going to make sure that I always am checking your comments. Hello, Jim. Nora, good to see you, my friend. The French Leo. I love the French Leo. Wonderful. All right. So again, we're just going to quickly go over some of the qualifiers, just reviewing, because we know that review and practice, doing things over and over so that it becomes what we call second nature, which just means that you naturally remember how to do something. You no longer have to think about it. Vocabulary and words, that's a really good example where you don't have to think, what does the word complaint mean? It comes to second nature because you've practiced it so much and you've reviewed it so much. So with that, I always tell my students, you can't just learn something and then never look at it again. You have to use it. You may have heard the term use it or lose it. Of course, what that simply means is once you have gained that knowledge, you have to keep using it, because if you don't, then you lose it and you forget what your vocabulary words mean. And again, those are so important because they allow you to say more and really get the full experience of English acquisition. Acquisition, of course, is just a big fancy word for acquiring, to get something. And of course, here with Smrt Live, we are acquiring knowledge in the English language through Smrt. And once more, as always, so glad to have you guys here. I'm going to check on the comments and then we will jump into qualifiers. Okay, good. Gabrielle, thank you for putting, he or she wrote it down, and Steve as well. Use it or lose it. Perfect. And that's with so many things in life, right? But in particular, learning a new language. So, all right, well, let's get started. Oh, there we are with two happy little birds sitting on a tree branch as we begin review of our qualifiers. So, looking at our example, there are not many birds around during the winter. And that's true. Although this morning when I was leaving my house, so of course in the winter, this early in the morning, it's still dark. When I was leaving my house and walking to my truck, I heard a noise, or I heard a sound that I hadn't heard in quite some time. It had been a long time. I heard a bird chirping, a bird singing someplace. And it was nice to hear because yes, there aren't many birds around during the winter. So to hear one was kind of a nice surprise this morning. Going on with our example, there aren't many birds around here during the winter. I guess there are only a few, okay? Not many, only a few kinds of birds that can live in the cold. And I got to hear one of them this morning. Nora, I love your comment. Awesome is great. Yes, awesome is great, but even like a little bit more, like really, really great. Wonderful. Steve, exactly. That's what I heard. A bird chirping or a bird singing. Yes. It's always a nice sound, especially in the winter when you don't hear it much, because there are only a few kinds of birds that can live in weather that is very cold. All right, so now reviewing a lot of, and lots of. I will say to you that one of the wonderful things about learning English fresh is that students that are new to English always spell a lot correctly. A lot is two words, a space lot. Now, regular English speakers, at least in their spelling, it is not uncommon for native English spellers and speakers to spell a lot as one word. And I remember one of my high school teachers, she always wrote up on the board, a lot is two words. So it's always kind of funny to me how native English speakers, when they're spelling a lot of the times they'll spell it as one word. But of course, our smart students are so smart, and you guys know that a lot is two words. So just a little extra, remembering back, way back, it's been a while, to my high school days. Looking at examples, a lot of kids are running to eat chicken. Yeah, I like chicken. I would run to eat chicken. I would join a lot of students, a lot of children. Very good. So, again, a lot of and lots of, they have the same meaning. You can say either one. They can both be used for countable and uncountable nouns. So again, countable nouns, things that, people that we can count, okay? We can literally count how many. Versus uncountable nouns, either they're too many to count or it's just en masse, it's just large. So saying like air. You cannot count air. It's uncountable noun. But a lot of and lots of, they can be used with both countable and uncountable nouns. So this poor guy in our first picture, we spent a lot of money last night. With that, he would probably be able to count. He would probably be able to remember how much money he started with at the evening and how much money or no money that he ended, because he's saying we spent a lot of money last night. Our second gentleman, oh my, both of the men in our examples don't look like they are having a good time. Our second picture, he ate lots of food at dinner time. It looks like he ate too much food. And we know, of course, that too much, Too. All right. Looking at, just checking comments. Good. Oh, very good point. And my apologies if I'm not pronouncing the name correctly. Diary. A lot is more formal than lots. I would agree with that. That's saying a lot, especially if you were writing an academic paper or writing more formally, even speaking more formally. I agree that a lot is just a little bit more formal than lots. Lots is more casual. Very good point. Oh, Vivek, I love you a lot as well. I love all our students. One of my dreams, and I know that it is a dream because I don't know how it would be possible, unless Jim, or Josh, you're still watching and you think, that's a great idea. We should make that happen. One of my dreams would be to actually meet all of you in person and sit down and have coffee or tea or whatever is your beverage of choice, or whatever beverage you would recommend if I was visiting you in your country, because it's so wonderful to have friends, again, from all over the world, but I have you just in writing, and it really would be a dream to be able to meet you all in person. But since that might not be possible, I am certainly happy and very, very excited to have you all here. Thank you. I have a compliment on my pronunciation. I'm glad that you find it helpful. Oh, diary. Did I pronounce that correctly? Diary? Let me know. And again, my apologies. So I apologize if I mispronounce names. Hopefully I got that correct. And again, really great observation with a lot being a little bit more formal than lots. Yay, I did. Diary, you are wonderful. You are awesome. All right, continuing down, just reviewing our qualifiers. There are a lot of people on the train today. I was very fortunate. 6 years ago, I was able to spend some time in China, and I am very, very tall. Even in America, I am considered very, very tall. So being in China, I was extremely tall, where I would have people ask if they could take their picture with me, which made me feel very much like a celebrity. But I remember being on the train, and of course, Beijing is such an amazing city, and there's so many people and so many things to do and to see, and taking the train, yeah, there was a lot of people on the trains, and I was taller than all of them, so I really got to see how many there were. It was a fun experience. All right, our next and last example with this, there are lots of fish in the lake. Now, again, that's a pretty informal statement or thing to say. So, lots of. There are lots of fish in the lake. Okay, one moment. As always, gonna check over in our comments. Yes, Steve. I spent some time in Beijing, and you'll have to forgive me, I can't remember the name of the province, but it was about a 7-hour train ride south of Beijing. I did, of course, visit the Great Wall, but I have to say that I don't think the Great Wall is named correctly, because it's not great. It's awesome. It's amazing. It is absolutely incredible. Okay, again, when we were saying that the more vocabulary you acquire, vocabulary acquisition, the more you are able to say. And I don't think that great seems too small a word to describe the Great Wall in China. It was absolutely incredible. I truly just stood for probably 5 minutes and just looked over the countryside and how the Great Wall, it was almost like a river that just kept running as far as I could see. It just was absolutely incredible. So I really enjoyed my visit to your country. So, thank you, Steve. I like your comments. All right, continuing on now. Much and many. Much and many have the same meaning as a lot of and lots of. However, but we use many only with countable nouns. So things, people, places, nouns that we can count, right? Our examples, there were many people at the party. Okay? There are many animals at the zoo. Or excuse me, rather this was a question. Are there many animals at the zoo? I would think so, since the purpose of a zoo is to have animals. So hopefully there are many animals at the zoo. Do you have many friends on Facebook? And I've had people ask if they could friend me on Facebook, and as I've said before, I'm old. I don't have Facebook. I did for a while, but I got rid of it, so we can be friends here. So if someone asks me, do you have many friends on Facebook? I do not have. I don't have Facebook. And I hope for this last example, I hope my wonderful students don't feel this way. Looks like this poor child I have many things to do for homework tonight. But I'm sure they're very helpful and very good things to do. 'Cause again, review, practice, use it or lose it. All right? Nandish has asked, what is my height and weight? My height in inches is 72 inches, so I am 6 feet tall. My weight, and most women, so I'll just let you know, in America, it's okay to ask a woman her height. It's, in America, considered kind of taboo, so like, don't do it, to ask a woman her weight or her age. However, I don't really care. So my height is 6 foot or 72 inches, and my weight is 173 pounds. So how's that? And I'm not ashamed of my age, since I always joke that I'm old. I'm 36 years old. So there you go, my friend. Nadish, we broke all of the taboo rules in American culture. Most women will not tell you or don't want to tell you their weight or age. I'm not afraid. We're all friends. All right. Vivek, Abby gives me many homework on my weekend. We would say Abby gives me much homework. I hate her for that. I'll give you a chance to change that sentence, Mr. Vivek, and I thank you in advance. Oh, thank you, Nora. I think that you are a great person as well. No, I know I need to stay focused on the lesson, but some of your comments over in the comment box are hilarious. Hilarious means funny, but really, really funny. Again, no reason to feel sorry or feel bad. I'm a pretty open person, except for Facebook. I don't want Facebook. So, continuing on. Much is used with uncountable nouns. So, people, places, things that we can't count or we wouldn't be able to count. Much is used with uncountable nouns. It is common in negative sentences and questions. In positive sentences, English speakers do not usually use much. Usually we would say a lot of or lots of. Okay, take a minute to scroll down. Vivek asks, can you share a little of your height with me? Sorry, I don't want to. I like being tall. But here's the nice thing. If you want to be taller, Vivek, you can always wear shoes. You can wear higher shoes. How about that? All right. So our examples. I didn't have much dinner last night. Did you study much English when you were a child? There isn't much money in my bank account. Ooh. That poor girl. That's always difficult when you go to look at your bank account and you go, there isn't much money. Okay, continuing on. Is there much food in the refrigerator? We spent, here they changed it. It wouldn't sound right. Certainly people would know what you were saying, but it wouldn't sound right. It wouldn't sound correct to say we spent much money yesterday. We would say we spent lots of money yesterday, or we spent a lot of money yesterday. In the same way, for our last example, we wouldn't say much rice in the bowl. We would say there is a lot of rice in the bowl. All right? It is okay, so it's perfectly fine. It's okay to say so much in positive sentences. As an example, the dog has so much hair. Yeah, that poor pup, he needs a haircut. That dog has so much hair. Okay? Second one, there is so much sugar in this tea. So with that, the person might be saying there's too much. There's more than what I enjoy or what I like. There's so much sugar in this tea. All right? Example, there is so much in the comments section that makes me laugh. It's fun for me to go back later and read through some of the comments that, of course, I don't have time to look at while I'm also streaming, but there's always so much that I enjoy reading. Okay, continuing on as we're finishing up our review of qualifiers, English speakers often ask questions that begin with how much or how many. Examples, how much pizza did you eat? Or how much coffee did you drink? This morning, I drank a lot. How many people are there on your team? How much coffee do you drink every day? A lot. And with that, as children, at least in America, we're always told that if you should not drink coffee as a child because coffee will stunt your growth. Stunt, S-T-U-N-T. Stunt means stop or hinder, okay? Hinder your growth. So it's always kind of funny to me because as a child, I loved coffee. So when my parents weren't looking, I would go drink coffee. And obviously, as we were saying, I'm very tall. Coffee did not stunt or did not stop my growth. Although who knows? Maybe if I hadn't drank coffee as a child, I would be a giant and I would be playing basketball around the world. Although I did play basketball in college on scholarship. So if any of you guys like basketball, right? Good. Steve, thank you for writing it in there. You beat me to it. Stunt your growth. So like stop or hinder. All right. Amazon. Yep, I've been called an Amazon before. I will take it. How many pairs of shoes did you buy? How many? All right. And then continuing on, finishing up our review with a few and a little. Have the opposite meaning. So the completely different meaning of many and much. We use a few with countable nouns and a little with uncountable nouns. Our examples, of course, with countable nouns, she only spent a few dollars. It's not many. She only spent a few dollars. We stayed there for a few hours. So again, we can count that. She only spent a few dollars. $2, $3, $4. The dollars, the money that she spent, we can count that, okay? We stayed there for a few hours. We can look at our watch or look at our phone 1, 2, 4, 5 hours. We can count how many hours we stayed there. Okay? Last example with our countable nouns. Do you have a few minutes to help me? I could say, yes, I have 5 minutes. I can help you for 5 minutes, and then I need to go to class. So again, we can actually count. Those are our countable nouns. We would use a few. With our uncountable nouns, she only spent a little money. We don't know. A little to me might be $1. A little to you might be $10. Okay, it's uncountable, so we would say she only spent a little money. We stayed there for a little while. Now, we know or probably experienced if you're going to a birthday party or a dinner or an event with a friend, and you say, I only want to spend a little time there. Your little time might be 1 hour. Maybe your friend is someone who really enjoys being around people and being very social. So their a little time might be 2 hours. That's an example of uncountable nouns when we would use a little. Okay, last one. Do you have a little time to help me? Again, as a teacher, when students say, do you have a little time to help me? I will say, of course. Now, a little time, I might have 10 minutes until I need to be to my next class. So for me, a little time then would be 10 minutes. And hopefully that's what the student is expecting or hoping for as well. But it's not exactly clear because it's uncountable. So once more, a few and a little, they have the opposite meaning of many and much. And we use a few with countable nouns and a little with uncountable nouns. All right? Gonna check over. All right. Oh, can you share notes? I'll just type in real quick what you need to remember. So I'm going to put a few and a little, opposite meaning of many and much. Okay, so that's for your notes to have. And then also a few with countable nouns. And a little with uncountable nouns. All right, Mr. Vivek and other students, hopefully that's helpful to have those few notes with you. As always, I encourage you to actually take notes, or one of the really, really awesome things, you can become a subscriber to the Smrt live streams, and that gives you a lot more benefits where you can take tests and quizzes, have homework, have more interaction with me or Mr. Joshua, Mr. Neil, any of the teachers, any of the Smrt live teachers. And that is, of course, if you are a premium subscriber. So if you are a person that enjoys notes and a little bit more interaction, that's a very, very good option. All right. You're welcome. You're welcome, Vivek. Okay. Continuing on, almost done with reviewing qualifiers. If you say few or little without a, this means almost none or almost nothing. Let's look at our examples so we know exactly what we mean. He has little hair. Now that doesn't mean that he has like short hair, okay? Or that doesn't mean that his hair itself is little. It means that he has few hairs on his head, at least with this example, the little baby boy. Okay? He has little hair. Coffee helps with this. With example number 2, I have little energy. Okay? Means almost none. Almost none. Okay? If I said I have a little energy, then that means that I do have energy. I'm not saying if I have tons of energy and I'm gonna go running like this lady, or I just have enough energy that I'm doing all right. I'm not falling asleep. So if I said I have a little energy, it means I do have energy. If I said I have little energy, that means almost none, almost no energy. Okay? Third example, there were few people in the theater. There were few, so it means almost none, very little. Okay, looking over at our comments, good. Our last one, the good student made few mistakes on the test. So that means that that student did not make many mistakes on the test. Okay? If we put a in front of few, then it changes the meaning completely. Opposite. The good student made a few mistakes on the test. Means more than normal, more than a good student or this good student usually does if they made a few mistakes. Completely different meaning, taking a or a out, just saying the good student made few mistakes on the test. So very little, almost none, almost nothing. All right. Oh, Chandra, I'm looking, where are the class notes? Oh, I've been writing a few in the comments, but I don't normally do a document. But if that's something that you would prefer, then yes, I will try to start having a document as well. Sometimes it just makes it difficult to be going through and typing. But if that's what you as students would like, if that is your preference, then certainly I'm here for you. That's what I will do. We'll start keeping better notes. Thanks for staying tuned and staying with us. Okay, I think we're going to complete or end our review of qualifiers with that, since it is review and we have gone over this before. Gonna pop back, as I said, to the vocabulary list. And again, we've been on this list for a while because there are so many words, but they are so many good words and words that I think are very important and very helpful to have. So with that, any last questions with reviewing qualifiers? Let me know. Okay, oh, let me see, Rosa's question. Sorry, one moment. Someone made a request to answer Rosa's question. So Rosa, do you mind typing in, or someone typing in the question one more time? I'm not finding it on the stream. Sorry, again, Rosa, where? All right, so if I'm reading this correctly, Rosa asked, few hair or few hairs? It would be he has a little hair, or he has few hairs. Because if I said he has few hair, that would mean one single hair. But few hairs, like I can't get this little baby and actually sit and count all the hairs on his head. We know, of course, that would be impossible, really, to count how many hairs you have. So I would say he has few hairs. Hopefully that answered your question. Let me know. Excuse me. I'm going to scroll down. So yes, so a few means almost none, right? Can we say a few hairs? Yes, he has a few hairs. I have 2 dogs and a cat. So when I come to school every day, I usually have a few hairs on my clothes that I need to make sure that I brush off. Usually on my coat or my jacket, one of our vocabulary words, I'll have a few hairs. Okay. Oh, good question. Knowledge is free. So much and very much. Is it the same? It would be the same both because they're uncount so much. I'm not saying how much. I'm not giving an exact. I'm just saying so much or very much. So yes, you could use those as the same. All right? One more. Okay, great. So let's go to our vocabulary list. And again, we'll just do about 5 words. Okay, power. Power. Now, a lot of these words, as I've said before, they can be nouns, verbs. A lot of words in English can be different parts of speech depending on how you're using them. For our purposes, I'm only going to explain the word in the way it is presented in our vocabulary. So power here is a noun. It's a thing. Okay, we know that electricity, so lights run on power. Our example, my computer is running low on power. So that could probably be the battery. We know that batteries on computers or laptops, they have to charge up, just like car batteries or batteries on your cell phone. And if you use it a lot, that energy, that power starts running low. Okay. Oh, Vivek, my heart is running low on power. Melinda, I am out of power. Yes, it happens that if there are, last year in Spokane, we had an incredibly bad windstorm, and it knocked down a lot of trees. It knocked down a lot of power lines. So the lines, the electrical lines that you see looking above that run power or electricity to homes and businesses, a lot of those poles, the wind was so bad that it knocked those over. Or again, trees fell on the power lines and knocked out the power. So I had no electricity for 7 days. My animals and I, it was freezing. Again, it was in the middle of a winter, so much too cold to stay in a house without power, without electricity, and being able to turn up the heat. So for 7 days, I had to go stay at my friend's house while they worked to get the power up in everyone's homes. All right. Good example. My laptop died, and we would say I need or it needs more power. All right. Good. Continuing on. Price. So price, it's a noun, and it's how much something costs. Okay, so the price of your cell phone. If you get a very, very nice cell phone, you're going to have a higher price. One of our other vocabulary words, brand. If you buy an expensive brand, say that you really, really like Versace or Dolce & Gabbana shoes. Shoes that I would never be able to afford, too high a price. But if you like that brand, then you know that that brand costs more. The price for those shoes costs more, right? Is more money. The same way the price for an airplane ticket will be very different going to different countries. Okay, you'll pay a higher price the farther away you travel. So price, how much something costs, right? Wow, Nandish, in India, 40 acres of people do not have electricity or power. Yeah. Vivek, she cannot buy my love. And we would say at any price. Good. Oh, Melinda, really interesting point. I just thought I'm out of power is I'm exhausted. Really great point. Saying I'm out of power, it would not be correct to say I'm out of power if you were saying, like, in a slang way, I'm exhausted. There's the literal, so the true meaning, I'm out of power. I do not have electricity. But then we also know, kind of in a slang informal way, again, the reason people enjoy coffee so much is caffeine gives you energy. Almost in a way, you can say energy is kind of like your personal power within the thought of energy. So really great point, Melinda. The true, so again, literal meaning of being out of power is you have no electricity, okay? Or you have no more life on your phone battery. But if we were saying it more as like an idiom or slang, saying I'm out of power, okay, you're saying that almost your personal energy is gone. So really great observation, and I'm very glad that you put that in the comment section, Melinda. Well done. All right. Okay. Steve, question, the price for or the price of? You could say either. What is the price of these shoes? What is the price for these shoes? You could absolutely say either of them, because either question, you're trying to find out what the number is, okay? A price is the number. So maybe really, really fancy shoes, a really popular brand name pair of shoes could be $500. Asking, where we go? Asking what is the price for these shoes or what is the price of these shoes, both would be correct. Both would be correct. Great job, Steve. Thank you for that. All right. Oh, good. What is the difference between price and cost? When we're talking about money, they could be used synonymously, okay? So they could be synonyms. Synonyms, we know, are words that mean the same. So for our purposes, when we're talking about price or how much something costs, we absolutely can use price and cost as synonyms. Great question and really nice observation, Nadish. Great. Okay. looking through it. Again, there's all your comments are so wonderful, but they're just like boom, 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 boom. So I'm old. I wear glasses sometimes. Want to make sure that I have all your questions answered over there. Okay. Knowledge is free. Hey, Abby, I saw your coffee cup being transparent in the printed place. Am I dreaming or is it true? Let me switch over to my screen and find out. So my coffee cup, knowledge is free, says nerds rule. Now, what is a nerd? A nerd is a noun, and it's a slang word, and it's sometimes used, or historically in the past has been used as a negative. If you call someone a nerd is someone who loves books and loves school and loves all these things about learning instead of maybe being out and playing sports or doing other things. Oh, you were at the library all afternoon? You're such a nerd. Well, I happen to think, excuse me, and I think a lot of teachers, hopefully a lot of students would agree that being a nerd is pretty awesome. So a slang in American English, if we say something rules, we mean is awesome, okay? Thinking of football, soccer. A lot of my students are huge fans of Manchester United. They say, Manchester rules. Other students are like, Real Madrid rules. My coffee cup says nerds rule. So with that, it's saying, I am not ashamed. I have no problem being a nerd. And anyone that thinks that it's a negative thing, well, I disagree. So yes, that's what my coffee cup says. All right. Oh, knowledge is free. Studious and nerd, are they the same? Great question. Nerd would be a noun. It would be a person that is very studious. So studious would be the adjective. And of course, we know that there's nothing wrong with being studious. In fact, being studious, I think, is a really awesome thing to be. So nerd would be the noun. Nerdy, saying someone is nerdy, would be the adjective. But with your question, studious would be the adjective, and it would probably be a popular adjective to describe nerds. So yeah, I'm studious. I'm a studious nerd. You bet. Again, you bet is slang for absolutely. All right. Continuing on, and I don't know why. Technology. Technology sometimes is great, and sometimes technology, My apologies. I don't know what happened with that. There we go. Okay. Receive. That just means to get. Okay? To receive, to get. The example we have here, we did not receive very good service at the restaurant. So maybe the food was supposed to be hot and it was cold. Or maybe here we have the waitress. A waiter would be a man that takes your orders, that works at the restaurant. Waitress would be the female version. So in this picture, maybe the waitress didn't come over to the table much. You could say, we didn't receive very good service at the restaurant. We didn't get. Now, for birthdays or different holidays, we give presents, okay? Popular tradition to give presents. And a saying that we have is, and I'll type this in, very popular saying, it is better to give than to receive. What that means is it feels better to give someone a present, to give someone something special, than to receive it, than to actually get it. So very popular saying, it is better to give than to receive. Receive once more means to get, to receive something. I could even ask or say, I hope that for the hour that we are together each week, I hope you really feel that you're receiving a lot of good information and that you're really receiving information that's going to help you with your English acquisition. So once more, fancy word, acquisition, that just means to acquire, to get, to receive. All right? I received a postcard from my friend. You know what? If you would ever like to send me a postcard, I would absolutely love to receive a postcard from some of my students. That would be amazing to me. As I said at the beginning, my dream, of course, would be to be able to meet all of you in person, but since that's probably not possible, it would be awesome to me to receive a postcard. I actually have a postcard collection with a couple hundred postcards, either from places I've visited or places that my friends have visited. So if you would like to send a postcard, look up the address of SCEL Spokane. Put that in there. Look up the address of SCEL Spokane College of English Language in Spokane, Washington. If you would like to send me a postcard, and you could put it to Miss Abby. And if you send me a postcard, as long as you make sure that you put your address, I will send you a postcard as well, so that we can both send and receive. We can both give and get. So with that, we are now right at time limit. So it's been one wonderful, awesome, using our vocabulary words, awesome hour with all of you. I hope that you've received a lot of information. We went through a lot of information, reviewing the qualifiers, continuing on with our very, very extensive, very good vocabulary list. Rosa, are people still sending postcards? Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of an antiquated practice. There's another big, long, fancy word. Antiquated comes from antique. Antique, of course, means very old. So sending postcards, we would say, is kind of an antiquated practice, but it's still one that a lot of people do because it is so much fun to receive. I think personally, I enjoy receiving real, actual mail in the mailbox than receiving an email. Both are wonderful, but actually having having a postcard that I can hang up on my wall in class is something that would be pretty awesome. So yeah, Rosa, we are still sending postcards. Maybe that makes us nerds, or makes me a nerd, but I think it's pretty great. And I think you are all very great, and hopefully you've enjoyed this lesson with Smrt Live. Remember, if you enjoyed this, one way that you can get even more is to become a premium subscriber. I have to sign off now because I need to go spend a few minutes getting ready for my class and welcoming my students for today. So thank you so much, everyone, as always, and once more, it's been an absolute joy being here with you. And wherever you are in the world, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, morning, afternoon, evening, night, and I will see you here next Tuesday morning, 7 o'clock my time, so Pacific Standard Time for Smrt English. Thanks so much, guys.